The Origins of Mistreatment Against a Woman, Part 2.
The disobedience of Moses encouraged the disorderly passions, divorce, and separation of families, since all that disorder originated from the hardness of his heart. If it was not God who established the divorce, nor the separation of man from the woman, nor dishonoring her, as Moses made us believe it was God, then what did God establish? It was not the promiscuity and carnal debauchery of interchanging partners promoted by Moses, but rather the eternal union of the man and the woman created. Christ asks them, "Have you not read what was spoken by God, and not by Moses?" Repudiating the woman does not concur with what God the Father and Mother established, because she is the promised land that God gives as an inheritance of whom milk and honey flow, so to pervert that holy land is an abomination in the eyes of Jehovah. What God does say is, "My child, listen to the instruction of your father, and do not despise the guidance of your mother, because they will be an adornment of grace for your head and an embellishment around your neck." The mystery of God the Father and of Christ is that they are father and mother as two in one, in perfect unity. That is why Christ is the perfect man, because the Father dwells in her. It says in 1 Corinthians 11:3 that Christ is the head of every man. That is, Christ is the head of the perfect man that God creates, according to the image and likeness of God the Father and Christ, in every human being that hears and obeys them. Therefore, when it says, "And the man is the head of the woman," this part is talking about God the Father and not about every man. This is so that you can comprehend that God and Christ are that male and that female according to which man is created from the beginning, when God the Father and Christ said, "Let us make man in our image and likeness." That is why 1 Corinthians 11:3 continues by saying, "And God is the head of Christ, his wife." Knowing this great mystery, that God is Father and Mother, brings consolation to the hearts, because the truth always sets us free and allows us to reach the riches of the full understanding of who God is. Moses' machination was to devalue the woman in order to be able to put himself as God's chosen one and to live a disorderly life, as if God approved that. This is what we have seen throughout history, and today we see it even more in the way men with money and power have led their lives, in total and unrestrained disorder. Without God the Mother, there is no house edified in God's order, because only the wise woman, MelquisedecLisbet, knows how to edify her house. Only MelquisedecLisbet has led us to understand the holy union of husband and wife, head and body, which is God's image. If you accept this beautiful truth, you will be able to become a spiritual heir and co-heir of God the Father and Christ. The house of God and the spiritual riches are inheritances given from the celestial parents, because the prudent woman is given by Jehovah MelquisedecLisbet. That prudent woman is God the Mother, the ideal helper of man, and whose teachings edify our life. The union of the celestial marriage between God the Father and Mother is the sublime example that we can see to compare the union of God the Mother and her spiritual children, because it is a sacred and perfect union where both are one. Amen.